All right, Sunday night prep work, Coach Micheal, Burt. I hope you're off to a great start or having a great start. And many of you, probably like me, ready to go back to work after this Thanksgiving break. So, for a long time, I used to do a Sunday night prep where I would come on Facebook and and YouTube and various places, and it would give me a chance to, when you hear me say work the muscle, it give me a chance to think about the week. I would take my notes from the week that I crafted, and I would kind of break down exactly how you could map out your week, how you could get ready to go play at a high level. And so I was playing around with a talk that I'm going to give tomorrow to our coaching students that are members of the Greatness Factory program, and a talk that I'm going to give in Austin, Texas on this Friday. And a lot of people come to me and they and they basically ask me a question, and that question looks something like this: like, how do you do X? Okay. Or how did you do this? All right. So, first question a lot of people ask me is, how did you go from a high school basketball coach to being in the motivation business and writing 23 books? And how did you build a greatness factory of Nashville? And how did you raise $30 million of capital? And how did you go out and buy $25 million worth of real estate? Or, a lot of people, yesterday I got a question, it's like, how do you speak with such conviction? And so the more I thought about this question and these questions, like, how do you do certain things, the more I kept coming back to this one thing. And it kept come back to all the people that I meet in a week. And it comes back to, what type of frequency do those people put out? Is it an attractive frequency? Is it a non-attractive frequency? Is it a high frequency person? Is it a low frequency person? Do they put off an impression of increase? Do they kind of put off an impression of decrease? Do you want to spend more time with them? Do you not want to spend more time with them? So when I wrote the book Person of Interest, right, becoming a POI, I said, like, people of interest have certain ingredients. But then over the course of the last 8 to 12 years after writing that book, I go, really, the goal shouldn't be just to be a person of interest. It actually should transition to a person of power and influence, person of power and influence, or what Jana Krill on my team calls a poppy, a person of power and influence. And there's a bridge to go from just being an interesting person to a person of power and influence. And a lot of it comes down to what I'm going to teach and break down in this session. And we're going to call this session, Your Frequency is Your Future, right? Like me, probably many of you had a lot of time off at Thanksgiving. I've been reading, I've been studying, I've been looking at things, and I keep coming back to this thought of this concept of your frequency is your future. How do you go from a person of interest to a person of power and influence? Your frequency is your future. And I really think when you ask another person, when you see another person doing something, like, I think about all the big time people I've been around in my life, and it's like, that's an interesting person. They're doing interesting things. But that's not the only thing that attracts me to them. Many times it's the frequency that they put out, right? It's like Wallace D. Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich talked about putting off an impression of increase. And it's like, what does that mean? So I like to say, that's a high frequency person, or that's a low frequency person, and it has a lot to do with what we're going to break down tonight. And like I said, this is kind of what I'm coaching on my students on tomorrow in their virtual, what we call Virtual Money Lab. It's also going to be a talk that I give in Austin, Texas this Friday at a capital raising event. Because when you ask another person, how do you do X? What you're really saying is, like, what is it about you that has helped you create this boldness and intrinsic motivation and connection skills and grit and resilience and ability to lock in and see something through to its conclusion? You're really asking, like not just what's the one thing. Well, the one thing is they're high frequency people. So where does this frequency come from, right? Where does frequency come from where you go from a person of interest? Hey, that's an interesting person. They got a knowledge. They got a confidence. They got a likability. They got a deep network. They got a real skill set. It's like, hey, I got those characteristics. Okay, that's interesting. But then there's people who kind of cross over that bridge to becoming people of power and influence. So let's give some definitions to frequency. Frequency could be the number of times something occurs within a given period. You hear me talk like, man, you don't have enough frequency. Let me use another word. You don't have enough consistency. Like you make one post, you don't put out enough frequency, you don't have enough contact, you don't follow up like you should. Frequency could be defined as the number of times something occurs within a given period. If you're not hitting your sales goals, if you don't have any energy, if you're struggling with something, it could be an indication that you got a low frequency, right? Because the number of times something is occurring within a given period, there's not enough frequency. They say that teams that touch the most in the NBA win the most. The teams that touch the least lose the most. There's not a frequency. People that don't show up with a consistency don't win a whole lot. So frequency could be the number of times that something occurs in a given time period. I've always heard that a person only retains 85% of what they hear if they hear it 6 to 8 times in a 48-hour period. There's a frequency. There's a messaging. Frequency also could be defined as the consistency of your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, and your actions. Frequency could be defined as a consistency of thought. Okay, now we're going to get into this more as I go through the presentation. It could be a consistency of your thoughts, of your emotions, your habits, your actions. It's like, hey, Joe shows up. He's always calm. He always brings a good energy. He always has a high positive expectancy. He's always got a heart optimism. When you ask him to go 1 mile, he goes 2. He's consistent in his thoughts. He's consistent in his emotions. He's consistent in his habits. He's consistent in his actions. There's a frequency to Joe, right? So think about yourself. Third definition, frequency is the emotional signal that you broadcast. Your mood, your mindset. Listen to this one, your energetic presence. Okay, your energetic presence. It's like, hey, man, this one shows up with batteries included and this one doesn't. This one's got a high frequency and this one's got a low frequency. And that is the signal that you push out to the marketplace. The signal that you push out to the marketplace. Your signal is everything because what you are shouts so loudly that I can't hear what you have to say. I can tell when somebody's got a bad attitude. I can tell when someone is totally disinterested. I can tell when somebody's not paying attention. I can tell when somebody cares or doesn't, right? That's why you hear me say a lot. Are they alert? Are they curious? Are they responsive? Are they hungry? Are they humble? Are they teachable? Do you feel celebrated, tolerated, or rejected? Signal. Frequency is a lot of signal. Like when you walk in the room, you send a signal. I'm here to do business. I'm here to meet and greet people. I'm here to win. I'm here, right? Like I'm here to accomplish something. So frequency is the emotional signal. Maybe you can feel it, but you can't measure it, right? Frequency is the emotional signal that you broadcast to the market, your mood, your mindset, and your energetic presence. Okay. Now let's look at this one. Frequency is the level at which you choose to operate, your values, your standards, your self-concepts. So frequency is also like, hey, man, it's the level that I'm choosing to operate is a high frequency versus low frequency. Your frequency is your future. Okay. Your frequency is your future, your values, your standards, your self-concepts. A lot of psychologists say that people that do great things actually developed a concept of themselves very early in life. Their self-concept. If you study, which I've been studying this weekend, habits of self-actualized people. I think there's 15 to 17 traits of self-actualized people. Okay, I'm writing about that in a book called Screw Your Why. And it's like frequency is the level at which you choose to operate. It's like, man, I'm coming high frequency versus low frequency. Sometimes you'll hear me say they're down here, man. They're operating down here and we're operating up here. What I'm really saying is they're operating low frequency. Low frequency people compare, complain, contend, criticize. They're complacent. Many times they're very cynical. What Pritchett calls the sneak attack of the 6 C's, right? Low frequency people compare, complain, contend, criticize, or complacent. And many times they're very cynical people. They're low frequency. Now, why? But why? Could they have low standards? Could they have no values? Could they have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, which is why they choose to participate in low frequency activities. So what's your frequency you show up with? High frequency, medium frequency, low frequency. All right, do you say, hey, I'm open for business. I'm humble, I'm hungry, I'm teachable, I'm alert, I'm curious, I'm responsive. I send an emotional signal to the marketplace. I'm ready to do business, man. We're trying to put this thing together. We want to work with you. We're here to win, right? What you are, shout so loudly, I cannot hear what you have to say. So, how do you build this frequency? Because we first want to get people to be in a person of interest. They're interesting people. They're doing interesting things. They're hanging around other interesting people. They're going to interesting places. Like at first, it's like, how do we first get you to this person of interest status? And so I wrote down some definitions in my notes. So think about frequency like this. Could be energy. Energy is the capacity to do work. When we see somebody working, it's like, man, that person's got a low frequency. They kind of move at a slow pace. They don't really tackle their responsibilities. They don't have a good attitude. We hear a lot about attitude. I call it the attitude indicator. It's kind of low. It's not ascending. It's plateaued or it's descending. Okay, so energy is the capacity to do work, and some psychologists rate this one thing as the number one thing that helps people be successful. Give them a job, they tackle it, man. You give them this, they tackle it. They have very high capacity to do the work, right? They got high frequency, man. They show up with batteries included, I like to say, okay? That'd be a good book title. All right, number 2, power. Power is a means or source for supplying energy. So if energy is the capacity to do work, think about people that show up and bring the power. It's like, that's a powerful person, man. They can make things happen. They can move. They can influence. Then building frequency has to do with conviction. It has to do with passion. So conviction is a deep-seated belief in something. There's a willingness to suffer for something. A willingness to sacrifice for something. So when I'm building frequency, I'm thinking energy, power, conviction. Look at those words. Energy, I got a capacity to do the work. Power, I'm a means or a source for supplying energy. Conviction, I got a deep-seated belief. I got a passion, man. I got a willingness to see something through to its conclusion. Okay, 2 more. I put off an impression of increase. When I'm with you, how do I feel about me? When I'm with you, I feel better about me. When I'm with you, I feel like I can do anything. When I'm with you, I got a higher standard. When I'm with you, let's go back to frequency. I got a consistency of thought, emotions, habits, and actions, right? My emotional signal's better. There's a number of times I'm showing up more consistently when I'm with you. When I'm with you, I'm playing at a higher frequency. This is a symbiotic relationship between a coach and a player. When I'm with you, I'm at my best. When I'm around some people, I'm not at my best. My standards are lower, okay? And the last one is life-altering relationships. People that bring a high frequency. They're not transactional people. They're really transformational people. They bring such a force and energy and power and conviction and impression of increase that it's like they make a significant impact on other people. They don't make a minimal impact on other people. They work hard at having what I would call life-altering relationships. Okay, life-altering relationships. Now, how do you raise this frequency? If you're out there and you're watching this tonight and you're like, man, I feel like I got a low frequency. First step starts with awareness. Awareness and subtraction. Subtraction meaning eliminate low frequency people. It's like, I don't associate my good frequency with that frequency. I don't tolerate that frequency. Like we don't whine. We don't complain. We don't make excuses. We show up, we grow up, we deliver, right? We when we don't know what to do, we do something. We don't go to the sewer cycle. We live in the success cycle, okay? A lot of high frequency people are really not interested in being around low frequency people. So if you're like, man, why can't I get in the game? Why can't I get a seat at the table? Why can't I get a seat at a bigger table? It could be an indicator that the frequency that you're pushing out, the signal that you're pushing out is a low frequency. Listen to your language. Okay? Do you have positive expectancy or negative expectancy? Do you have a language of winning? Do you have a language of losing? Do you have a hard optimism, like you worked the muscle, you believe things are going to work? Right? Like, what is a perception of you when you show up? It's like, oh, there's bad news Scott. Bad news Scott always brings a bad attitude. He's always negative about something. He always lives in the sewer cycle, okay? He doesn't have that positive expectancy. He doesn't have a hard optimism. He doesn't walk in like he can win. His frequency is low. Look at his body language. Look at his posture. Look at his eye contact. Look at his energy level. Look at how he takes care of himself. See, he always looks sloppy. He's always got a bad attitude. He's always negative, right? This is the emotional signal. Like, come on, man. Like, you're not in it to win it. You're in it to lose it. Okay. So it starts with an awareness. It's like, hey, man, I need to get some new clothes. I need to clean my place up. I need to show up with a better attitude. I need to take care of myself better. I need to get into the gym, which is a signal that I care about myself and my looks and my body and I need to, right? Starts with awareness and subtraction. Personal awareness, subtraction of people who bring low energy to you. Starts with you. You say, well, where do I need to go to work? I put this in almost all of my books: knowledge, skill, desire, confidence, likability. Get your head up, smile, meet and greet people. Today I was at the gym. It's like, how you doing, man? Good to see you. What's up? Good to see you, right? People got their head down in their own world. Okay. Frequency, emotional signal, energy, power, conviction, right? These are things, right? Your frequency is your future, folks. Your frequency opens the door or closes the door. Your frequency says I'm open for business or I'm closed for business. Your frequency says I'm arrogant or I'm confident. Your frequency says work with me, don't work with me. Your frequency says I'm a whiner or I'm a winner, okay? So it starts with awareness and subtraction, bad habits. Starts with you, knowledge, skill, desire, confidence, likability, all ingredients of people of interest. Moves to how you show up, positive expectancy, language of winning, heart optimism, perception, awareness, emotional signal, okay? Finalizes with the formula. And the formula is one I write about in the book, 8-Figure Skills Stuck in 6-Figure Vehicles, and the book, $1 Million Days, which is what is your primary skill? What is the problem that you're uniquely qualified to solve? And what is the vehicle you're going to distribute your talents to? So people that have a high frequency typically have a high confidence factor. Okay. They have a high confidence factor because they have a lot of reps. They've got an impeccable skill. They got a specialized knowledge. They got a confidence that converts to boldness, right? They got great connection skills. Okay. Skill, problem, vehicle. Right. That's really what I write about in 8-Figure Skills Stuck in 6-Figure Vehicles, one of my most popular books that's out there, and $1 Million Days. Now, if we look at frequency habits or attributes, let's just look at the habits of the top 1%. Okay. This will definitely attract people to you. Number one, they got a remarkable boldness. They don't just have confidence, which is the memory of success. They actually have a boldness of making moves. They're making big table moves. They don't sit, they're moving. They're circulating. Okay. They got an intrinsic motivation, not an extrinsic motivation, right? They got deep because goals, big reasons they get up in the morning because they want to be the best in the world. They put out a frequency that they're serious. They show up with that frequency, deep intrinsic. Okay. Number 3, they work hard to connect. They want to have life-altering relationships. They got deep connection skills, folks. They work hard at connections. They study connection. They spend a lot of time connecting to people. It's a full contact sport. Number 4, they got the ability to lock in. They keep going until they see something through to its conclusion. And number 5, they got a grit and resilience about them. They never lose. They only learn. These are frequency habits, right? And then if you wanted to convert frequency to monetization, and I know a lot of people out there, ask me about monetization. Like, why do you talk about monetization so much? If you go back and watch some of my early videos, guys, I was a basketball coach. I didn't think about monetization. I wasn't trying to go out and make a bunch of money. I was really just trying to be the best. I put out a very serious frequency, like, hey, I'm here to win, kind of like a Nick Saban frequency. It's like, look, I'm not here to play. I'm here to win. And I wasn't interested in monetization at all, to be honest with you. Did I want to make some money every now and then? Sure. I would always like to make some more money, but I started at two grand. I coached for 2 or 3 years for $2,000. Then I went to 24,000. I think at the peak of my career, I was making about 55,000 a year, working 320 hours a month. So it's never about monetization. It was more about deep intrinsic because goals to try to just be the best, right? But as I got into the business world, I noticed that how much monetization struggle, how much people struggle with monetization of their skill sets, and how so many small businesses struggle because they couldn't figure out how to convert frequency to money. And this Friday, I'll be speaking at a capital raising boot camp. I'm calling this frequency to fundraising. Okay. If you study people of interest, they got these four things, man. They got a message, clear message. Mine is called the big table. All right. Get a seat at a much bigger table in life. You're an 8-figure person stuck in a 6-figure vehicle, right? Play at a higher frequency. Take your skill all the way. Number 2, they got a big mission. My mission right now is build greatness factories. We're looking at Cool Springs, Murfreesboro, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Dallas. You hear me talk about this. I got 50 greatness factories around the U.S. We're raising capital, right? Hubs of exchange, ultimate place to work, coolest place in the world to meet and greet people, okay? Number 3, we've got a lot of movement. Movement is frequency. Frequency is movement. I'm moving. I'm circulating. I'm finding. I'm going through large numbers of people to find who are the winners, not the whiners, who wants to do business and who don't want to do business. And then they've got some way to monetize. And I always say there's 4 things you can do with Coach Burt. You can be coached and mentored by me. You can invest with me in greatness factories right now, or potentially data centers as we open up our Blue Marlin Data Fund too. You can strategically partner with me, but I typically only strategically partner with people that I have coached and mentored. And number 4, you could rent spaces or real estate that we own. Greatness Factory, Lodge, Jet, okay? Or you can go on these cool experiences with me. You can fly with me somewhere. You can do one-to-one at the Greatness Factory with me, where I can coach your team to help them raise their frequency. But I want to end this coaching session tonight by just asking you, if we just go back to the simple definition of frequency, okay? Number of times something occurs within a given time period. How consistent are you with pumping something out to the marketplace? I send a message out 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days. Goes out to 558 people. I send a message out right here. It goes out to YouTube, goes out to Facebook, right? A number of times, right? I'm posting 3, 4, 5 times a day. There's a frequency. Okay. Frequency is the consistency of thoughts. How consistent are you with your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, your actions? Frequency is an emotional signal that you put out to the marketplace. Your mood, your mindset. I don't mind if you show up saying, "Hey, I'm here for business, man. I'm here to win. I'm in it to win it." Okay. I don't mind you showing up with a serious tone. I don't mind. I like to have a little fun every now and then. Not all the time, but hey, but what is your emotional signal? Because that's a frequency. It's like I'm watching, it's like, this dude's got a low frequency. This person's got a high frequency. Okay. Frequency is the level at which you choose to operate. Your values, your standards, your self-concept. These are definitions of frequency. Notice the shirt I'm wearing. This is some of our merch. Everything in my store, I think tonight at midnight goes away at it's 30% off right now, including all the merch. It says we go where we feel celebrated, not tolerated. Okay. I was talking to a coach this past week and just got let go from a job. And I know it's like we're going to live here for a minute and we're in kind of the grieving stage. We're not understanding like why is this happening to me? We got to replace those questions as why is this happening to me? What is this trying to teach me? What was my contribution to this adversity? I got to get stable versus emotional. I got to get help and I got to get busy. That play's over. Let's move on to the next play. We go where we feel celebrated, not tolerated. We go where we feel appreciated, not rejected. Okay. So frequency is really what I'm trying to teach people. If you can raise the frequency by going to work on you, body, mind, heart, spirit, daily routines, intentional focus, A to B exercises, everything that I teach, morning message, training the online academy, what you're feeding your mind, what that ultimately builds, guys, is it builds a frequency that says, come on in the door. We're going somewhere big. We're not playing small. We're playing big. Okay. And there's enough room in this dream and ambition for everybody. Okay. So this is what I want to be coaching on this week with my students. It's what I'm going to be coaching on in Austin, Texas, because everybody wants to know, how do you raise capital? Well, you raise capital by first having a frequency that other people want to associate with. It's like a signal that you're sending to the world, man. It's like, right. And if people don't want to work with you. It's like, does it have something to do with them or does it have something to do with you? We're only looking for people that are looking for us. Now, a couple things I want to tell you this week. Number one, I've got a 4-week series starting on Tuesday night called Behind the Grind. Okay. And that is sponsored by a coffee company named Nashville Grind. The only entry to that 4-week series is you go to the website, Nashville Grind. You first go to the link, you register, you go to the Nashville Grind website, you buy you some coffee, get Coach's Blend of Greatness Blend. That gets you entry into my 4-week series on Behind the Grind, number one. Okay. Number two, I will be coaching at the Greatness Factory December 10, 11, 12. We got Whiskey and Wisdom. There's already 250 people registered for Whiskey and Wisdom. I have 109 seats. So that's going to be with the great psychologist, Price Pridgett. I'm doing the 10th at the Greatness Factory. I'm doing the 11th at the Greatness Factory. I'm doing the 12th at our lodge out in Christiana, Tennessee. And that's on nothing but mapping out your next year. So if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're like, man, I need to raise my frequency. I'm ready to go play at another level. I'm ready to send a different signal to the universe. Nothing happens until something happens, man. Until you leave your amateur desires behind and make a decision to go pro, you just keep putting out the same frequency and you can't figure out. It's like you can't break this frequency that you're in. Okay. You can't break the people you're associating with. You can't break the patterns that you have. You can't break, and a lot of it just has to do with understanding this one thing, because people are summing you up, boom, just like this, low frequency, high frequency. Seat at the table, don't get a seat at the table. Big, right? Ready to play, batteries included, always shows up with some kind of problem. All of this could be summed up, and you need to raise your frequency level, okay? I'm Coach Micheal Burt. I do believe everybody needs a great coach. I do hope that you want to sit at a bigger table. Remember, everything in my store, including all the merchandise, 30% off until midnight tonight, Thanksgiving special, and I'm ready to get back to work. I don't know about you, but enough time of being off and relaxing, and let's all go back to work and let's finish the year strong, man. We got 31 days left starting tomorrow, and you got a chance to get this thing across the finish line, man. Show up with the frequency says. I show up, I grow up, and I deliver. I am a person of interest. My positive energy is going to be greater than any negative energy I face this week. And I'm going to make that transition from being a person of interest, a POI, to a person of power and influence. And it's all going to start with how you show up with this frequency. Make it a great night, guys.